YouTube channel. So I just want to let you know we are recording customer service in the job search. So again, today we're going to talk about some things that you might know, some things you may not have thought of at all. The idea is to open up, give you some new ideas, help you open up your job search, make it unique. Unique is what we're looking for right now. In the job search, what's happening is people are sending in their resumes to a company, and there may be 5 or 6 people who have the exact same experience. What is going to make them unique is going to get them the job. So that's what we're talking about today. Be unique, be consistent, use customer service in your job search, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So my name is Nancy Quinn. Hello. I have worked in career services for over 15 years, and I say 15 years because that's the maximum you want to talk about in your job search. Your resume should go back 15 years, your LinkedIn account should go back 15 years, and you should only chat about things with the number 15 years. Anything over that is old news. People want to know, what do you know now? So focus in on your current skills. If you're interested in resumes with your current skills, we have a resume workshop on the 8th. So take a look at this quote here. Make sure your worst enemy doesn't live between your own 2 ears. That's something I believe in all the time. Got to stay cognizant when you're unemployed of being positive. Being positive is very important. Your attitude is everything. So I've been in your shoes before. I've been laid off 3 times and fired once. None of it was pleasant, and it never gets any easier. But realistically, I understand how you feel, where you're coming from, and what you're up against. So it's not easy. So we're going to try to talk about things to make it easier for you. So our agenda today, where have our manners gone? What are manners? How do manners equate to customer service? What is customer service? Where does it all fit in the job search? Now, before we get started, I want to just go briefly over how to communicate with me because you're muted at this point. And I do this because there's always somebody new in the workshop. So I apologize if you've heard this before, but if you come in on a laptop or a desktop, you look for the chat button and you can comment or question anything in the chat box. When we're finished, I'll be sending this presentation out to you if you're here with me live today. So I'll be sending this out. When we're done, I'll say we're all finished and you can click on that button to get out when we're done. Don't do that now. If you want closed caption on a laptop or a desktop, just hit that CC button and you'll see the transcription can be read. And you can also drop down into a foreign language, a different language if you choose. Okay? Okay. If you come in with a mobile device, something handheld, to access the controls, look at the front of your device. You should see 3 dots. And you click on the 3 dots and it goes to the advanced section, and you'll notice that there may not be a chat section on a handheld device. You might just have Q&A. So I monitor both. So feel free to use either one. If you want closed captioning, go to the advanced section and then you go to the WebEx Assistant and you'll see how to get closed captioning right there. Okay, so any questions as we go, put them in the chat or the Q&A. Any comments you want to make, feel free to share. Now, manners. Look at this guy. He's having a rough day. Manners lead to an approach to your job search based on good customer service skills towards each other. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have a better job search. It's going to be more pleasant. You're going to stand out because you are someone who has common courtesy, which isn't common anymore. Think about it. How do you feel when you're standing in a long line at a store? How do you feel when you're on 128 Friday afternoon going north? It stopped all the way to Woburn from the beach. It's crazy. How do you feel when you have bad service in a restaurant? Remember those signs that say we're still hiring, be nice to the people that came in when the waitresses showed up? It's hard. Customer service is really important. It's very, very important in all situations. Your reaction to those situations, how do you get? What do you feel when you're in those situations? You feel stressed? You feel strained? Think about that. You don't want to do that to the person that you're dealing with. Manners and customer service, where do they meet? They do meet Offering quality customer service is simply a matter of good manners and basic courtesy. It means smiling at the customer, making eye contact. I went to get gas yesterday and I went in to pay, and the guy didn't even look up from his telephone to make eye contact with me. And I thought that was very rude. And he probably didn't think anything of it. So things have changed as far as good customer service is concerned. Don't assume everybody's doing it, because everybody isn't. So again, eye contact is important. A smile is always helpful as well. Even when you're on the phone, a smile can be seen. Keep in mind that people hire, companies hire, try to say that fast. They prefer to hire people with soft skills. You're born with soft skills. Employers want people with soft skills. They are a representation of character and attitude. So your soft skills can reflect how you are as a human being. Hard skills will get you hired, but if you have no soft skills, that might get you fired. So you want to be cautious with that. Make sure if you read the job ad, they talk about soft skills on the job ad. You talk about soft skills on your resume. Whatever they talk about in the job ad, you talk about on your resume. Soft skills are personality traits and behaviors that will help candidates get hired and succeed in their work. Unlike technical skills or hard skills, soft skills are interpersonal and behavioral skills that help you work well with other people and develop your career. Can you put some soft skills in the chat? What soft skills do you have? Does anybody have any soft skills out there? Can you put those in the chat? I'll give you a minute to wake up. Positive attitude, kindness. Excellent. What else have we got? What else? Sense of humor, communication. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate that. Negotiation, listener. There you go. These are things that you can develop. You can develop soft skills, but it's really hard to teach soft skills. Most of the time you're born with them, like patience. Patience. What are some hard skills that you have? Can you put down some hard skills? They're measurable skills. Skills that you learn, things that you use in your job. What are some hard skills that you have? It's real important that you're aware of these skills that you have. If you don't have a list of these skills somewhere in your job search portfolio, you need to have it for yourself so you recognize what it is you're selling. Someone said, typist, make a Gantt chart. I don't know what a Gantt chart is, but I appreciate that. Analytical could be either. Could be hard, could be soft. Sometimes that's true of a lot of them. Microsoft Suite, you can measure that. SAS. Okay, great. That's what I want you to think about. Make yourself a list of your hard and soft skills so you can work with them. You can reflect them on your resume everywhere. Your grasp of soft skills could make the difference between getting the dream job and rejection. So it pays to think about how you can develop your soft skills and demonstrate them to hiring managers. You can rely on your technical ability, which is a hard skill, to get you the interview, but that won't always get you the job or help you make the role your own. List soft skills in the chat. We already did that, so let's not worry about that. But I want you to be cognizant of your hard and soft skills, because it's going to be important that you can talk about those, speak to those, and recognize when they're important. Okay, name the behaviors you find in good customer service. How do they relate to the job search? Well, I went to an alphabetical listing and I took some of the listing and I put them in here. You mentioned some of these already: active listening, adaptability, attentiveness, dependability, effective communication, empathy. That's a big one. Friendliness, real important. Knowledge of your product or your service. Remember, your product and your service is you. Open-mindedness, patience, quick thinking, reading physical and emotional cues, responsiveness, and timeliness. These are behaviors that you find in good customer service. There are many, many more, but I want you to be thinking about what you have. So look at this lady. I'm not sure by looking at this picture if she's on the customer side or she's on the employer side. Either way, she's not doing it right. Definitely not doing it right. So first, let's talk about customer service. What is it? How can I use it in my job search? You want to apply customer service in all the actions that you do and all the applications all the time. Basic phone call to resume. You want to use customer service. We're going to talk about how. Customer service is providing a service or product to a customer in a pleasing and efficient manner. Sometimes it's natural, sometimes it's learned. We're always refining our customer service skills. To start, be calm and confident and open to the customer or the manager's problem. Be open to their ideas and their point of view. Loyalty and reputation can be based on good customer service. So again, you have a reputation. You have a brand. Part of that brand is you're the one that's always polite. You're the one that always has manners. You're the one that always considers other people. That's important. When you have a problem, what are you looking for? Any problem, you need a what? Anybody? When I have a problem, I need a solution. A solution. Okay, excellent. Answers, solution. Excellent. So, what is the hiring manager's problem? Filling an open position. That's their problem. You are at your house, you're looking at the job ad, and you're all excited because you can do it. You sit there and you say, I have everything they need, absolutely everything. Tell them in your resume how you can fix their problem. That's good customer service. That's communication. Don't send the same resume to everybody, because here's something you want to write down. Every time you send out the resume, you need to change it to match the job ad. You need to take specific words off the job ad and sprinkle them throughout your resume. Tell them how you can do what they need you to do. If you don't explain it, they don't know. Resumes have changed. Now, who's the customer in your job search? Who's your customer? Who's that? Hiring manager. Excellent. Thank you. The hiring manager is your customer. So you want to be as nice to them as possible in every single way. Think about them. They're filling a position because it's open. That means they're overworked, probably. They're short-handed. Keep that in mind if they have an attitude that might be a little short or snippy. They might be impatient because they have to hurry up with your interview. They don't like doing interviews either, and they need to get back to doing what they were doing before. They might be needy. All of a sudden, they're thrust into this position where they have to be an interviewer, and they're not comfortable with that. So they need you to understand. They might be rushed, probably going to be rushed. Maybe somebody scheduled the interviews too close together. Maybe they're just terribly, terribly busy. Think about their side. What else can you do to make their life easier? Anybody? Somebody said, oh, here's a good one. Show up on time. Don't throw off their schedule for the day. Be there on time. Be there a little bit early. Excellent. 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 What else? What are other considerate things you can do? Again, we talked about eye contact. Be understanding. Let them know how you can help out. That's the point to the whole thing exactly. You need to talk to them about how you can fix their problem. You need to write in the resume how you can fix their problem. You need to write in the cover letter. Everything. Somebody said bring your resume in case they forgot. Someone said bring something nice like juice or pastry. I don't know if that's good for an interview, to be honest with you. Really depends on the industry. Most of the time you want to keep it professional. But if you want to bring me some pastry, that's fine. I like pastry. But thank you. Okay, so there are things you can do to make things easier. You can listen. Listen. Slow down. I was talking to someone the other day that had this terrific habit of finishing my sentences, and it drove me crazy. It put me in a bad mood because they kept saying the wrong things and I interrupted and it drove me crazy. So, in a timely manner, you want to listen, you want to communicate with them in a clear, easy to understand way to solve their problem. And their problem is the job ad. Follow specific directions. Do what they tell you. If they say do not send a cover letter, you do not send a cover letter. Always follow directions. Follow through with the details. If you say you're going to forward your references, make sure you do so. Any kind of documents they might need, maybe they say we need a copy of your transcripts, get it right away, get it to them immediately. Don't be the one that slacks off. Feel empathy toward them. It's going to be important. Remember, after this pandemic is over, which theoretically it is and theoretically it isn't, we all kind of forgot about feeling empathy. We were all separated from each other for a long time. It was a very strange situation. But your communication can begin with a manager who's frustrated. So you have to realize they may be out of their element in this interview. It's important that you understand that, you identify with their feelings and communicate accordingly. They may be a harried hiring manager or recruiter. They are busy. They are moving at a rapid rate. They're doing multiple jobs at once. So don't take it personally if they're a little snippy. You maintain your customer service by maintaining your attitude. Practice patience. Clients and customers sometimes can be quick to speak, angry. They may ask several questions at a time. You may have to repeat yourself. Patience is important to keep everything focused. Have your answers to questions ready. That's something you want to do ahead of time. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You want to have questions to ask of them. Always have several questions for the end of the interview. Be patient while you wait for them. Maybe they have a crisis and you have to wait an extra 10 minutes. Don't be upset about that. Keep in mind, it's a meeting, it's a conversation. Be flexible. Product and technical knowledge is the knowledge of you. To effectively solve problems, you will likely need to know a bit of technical or industry knowledge to help them resolve the issue at hand. Be sure you know your product and the resources to support it. Know yourself, you are the product. If you say you are great at customer service, you have to be specific and say when and how and why. You need examples on your resume. You need to sit down ahead of time. This is good customer service, and develop these statements for them before you see them. So how can you help right now in the hiring process? Be succinct in your communication with them. Be very straightforward on your resume about how you can do the job. Be very, very straightforward. Show examples on the resume of how you've done a job that they need you to do. Explain how you can specifically resolve their questions, resolve their issues on the resume. You need to be direct and to the point. On the resume, again, we have a resume workshop on Tuesday. On the resume, you want to list bullets that start with action verbs and end with results. So you want to show action on your resume. You want to respond in a timely manner. If they say, I need this afternoon, you make sure you get it this afternoon. If you can't, you communicate why you can't. Communication's vital. Listen to the directions and follow them. Sometimes that's part of the interview. Are you listening? Are you following? Convey knowledge of the product. The product is you. Convey how you can do the job, when you have done the job, and how you have done the job. Show them that you can do it. That's good customer service. Make it clear and concise so they understand right up front, you're the one. Now, where can you do this? How can you use customer service? Specifically represent your skills on the resume. And I can't say it enough. You've got to change the resume every time you send it out. To some people, that's old news. To some people, that's new news. To some people, that's shocking. But you need to sprinkle the words off of the job ad that excite you onto your resume. You need to put examples on your resume of how you do the job, how you've done the job, when you've done the job, where you've done the job. On the cover letter, you need to pick one of the main points that they have a problem with, and you need to address it in the cover letter as to how you can fix their problem. That's good customer service. When you put together your references, again, we have a thank you note and references workshop on the 15th. When you put your references together, it's going to be really important that you, ahead of time, prepare your references with what you'd like them to say. It's going to be really important that you, ahead of time, develop your references, get all the contact information to make the contact simple for the manager. That's good customer service. Make it easy for them to get a hold of your references. Make sure you find out from your references what is most convenient, when is most convenient, how is most convenient. On your thank you note, just by sending one, you're showing good customer service. 75% of people send thank you notes. That means 25% don't. It's one of the first questions I ask people when they say, I didn't get a call. They never called me for the job. I had the interview. It went great. I think it was fabulous. I did a great job. You really did. I did. Did you send a thank you note? Well, no, that's old fashioned. It's an email now, a thank you email. In your emails that you send to them and your texts that you send to them, be clear. With phone calls, make something ahead of time so that you can practice how you're going to leave a good message. Make a little script. Make sure you're very clear on the phone. I always start off a conversation by saying my name and my phone number. Then I say what my point is, and then I finish it at the end again with my name and my phone number. That way I'm sure they have it. Be clear and concise. Know before you call what you want to say. That's good customer service. Make it as easy for them to hire you as possible. Now, it's to your advantage to navigate the job search with excellent customer service in mind, all the time thinking, how can I make this easier for the hiring manager? How can I make this clearer for the hiring manager that I am the person for the job? Does my resume speak to my ability? Does my cover letter back that up? All of these things are good customer service. Leaving phone message, use a script. In returning calls, emails, and texts, make sure you do it promptly. They will move on to the next person on the list if they don't hear from you within a short period of time if they leave you a message. Make sure your phone message is clear and concise. Don't make it cute, make it professional. Don't forget to be clear, be organized when you record details of who to speak with and when to speak with them. Where to send your documents. Sometimes there's a different place to send documents from the email you've been using. What documents not to send. As I mentioned, if they don't want a cover letter, don't send them one. They're looking to see if you follow directions. Good customer service follows directions. All of these areas we talk about are where you can shine. If you are consistently good at all of these things, people are going to notice. Even if it's a subtle notice, they'll notice. Make this as easy for the manager as possible. Here's a job ad. I'll give you a minute to read it through. I've underlined the words you want to pull off of this and sprinkle on your resume. Take a look and read this over. Okay, you may not be done, but the point is everything that's underlined are keywords that you can use in the resume and the cover letter. You need to speak to being an energetic, dedicated professional. They're looking for new grads. If you're a new grad, you want to highlight that in your cover letter. Strong ability to work in emergency medical care, show leadership, basic staff management. Excellent. If you have ER training and experience, mention that. Dedicated to the medical industry, collects and assists. Duties include gathers patient information. Communication is going to be vital. These are the things they care about. These are the bullets you need to have on your resume. That's what I want you to do. I want you to start practicing reading job ads and pulling out the keywords that you see that excite you or that speak to your skills and abilities. Pull those keywords out and make a little story, make a sentence or two about that particular situation. It's really important that you have these pulled out of the job ad. Take the job, highlight the keywords, show that you've done the job. Use something called CAR and PAR statements to show when and how you did what they need. We're going to talk in a minute about what CAR and PAR statements are. Basically, they're a little teeny story about something that you've done. So PAR is problem, action, and result. So what you need to do is to have a situation already set in your mind. Here's my PAR statement. When I worked at BU in Career Services, my manager said that we had a problem with our placement rates. I developed an internship for 65 people, enabling them to get experience, enabling them to get jobs, which increased our placement rates by 32% that year. I talked about the problem. They're not getting jobs. I talked about the action. I developed an internship. Talked about the results. We increased placement by 32%. That's a PAR statement. That's a CAR statement. That's a STAR statement. That's an accomplishment statement. That's an achievement statement. So just to be frustrating, they have 5 names for the same thing. Huh. You can call them what you want to, but these are those little stories that you have to have for the interview. Nancy, tell me about a time when you took some initiative. I could use that statement. I'm at a different interview, different people, and they say, Nancy, tell me about a time when you took charge of a situation. Nancy, tell me about a time when you thought outside the box. Now, I wouldn't use the same one in the same interview 3 times, but I would use it for different questions in different interviews. You need to have 5 of these established to be good customer service. Because when they say to you, Nancy, tell me about yourself, you could say, well, I'm pretty creative and I take charge. When I worked at BU in Career Services, we had an issue with our placement. I developed an internship, which enabled people to get jobs, which enabled them to get placed, which increased our placement rates by 32%. 20 years ago, you would have written down thorough leadership. But that story that I told just a second ago spoke to those things. It proved those things. It showed those things. It made it so crystal clear that I can do those things. That's good customer service. Don't make them unwind something. Don't make them try to figure it out. They don't have time. They don't have the energy. They won't put in the effort. They being the hiring managers and the recruiters. Put together your PAR statements, have them ready, use them as bullets on your resume, use them as accomplishment statements on your resume. Make it crystal clear that you can do the job. That's a good PAR statement. So for this one, again, a problem that presented itself, the action that you or your team took, and R is the quantifiable result. Think about it. Did you save time? Did you save money? What did you do to make your company's life better? They don't know. They want to know. You have to tell them. You have to be prepared. Being prepared for the interview is good customer service. Having your answers, thinking about their questions ahead of time, is all good customer service. Now, here's a resume to answer that job ad that I had you read. Energetic, dedicated, and determined emergency care professional with a driving passion for helping others and giving back to the community. Extensive emergency medical certifications and a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing with cum laude honors. Proven training and experience in emergency medical care for 8 years, dating back to sophomore year in high school as a volunteer first responder. Quick thinking, hands-on leader with a focus on emergency services. Former volunteer at Bayside Naval Center. Here's the situation. In your summary on your resume, good customer service points out exactly why they should hire you. There's 10 things that she mentioned in these 4 lines, 5 lines, that tell that manager, I have exactly what you asked for. I repeated it. I didn't take it word for word, line by line by line. I took the key words and I put them into my summary. Then I put them throughout my resume for you, so it backs up my summary. That's good customer service. At the top, I said I was dedicated. Down the bottom, I showed where I was dedicated. Good customer service. Have a nice, clear resume that explains to them how you can do the job. So this is the resume again. Continues on. This person was a volunteer previously at this particular place, and you'll notice a minute ago, they put that as the last line on their summary. If somebody refers you to a job or you have experience with that job as a volunteer, make sure you put it in your summary. I was referred to you by Joe Smith. Okay, so that's the rest of the resume where she took administrator, coordinator, full-time crew, administrator, coordinator, talks about leadership, talks about managing. Ensures that all staff certifications meet requirements. That ensures attention to detail. 20 years ago, you would write attention to detail. Today, you show them an example of attention to detail. That's good customer service. Any questions as we go along? If you have questions, put them in the chat, please. Give you a second to think about that. Okay, I guess you thought about that and you're okay. Told to be brief. Exactly, get to the point. But explain to them what they can get from you. You can be a little more than brief if it's valid information. You don't want to put junk in there. You don't want to fluff it up. You don't want to put in extra verbiage that is not necessary. But if you want to be brief, the summary is the place where you want to explain. The summary is the place where you want to explain things. As long as it's viable, keep it brief. Yes, keep it brief. Again, we're going to talk about resumes more on the 8th. But I want you to sprinkle the words throughout the job ad. You can go to 2 pages on a resume if you have quality information. That's not a problem. A 2-page resume is fine. It's better to have a 2-page resume than a 1-page resume that looks totally congested. White space is important on your resume now. But again, we'll get into that Tuesday in much more detail. So sign up for that workshop, please. Okay, cover letter. Starts off with something that grabs you. You need to grab them. You don't need to say, hi, I am applying. You start off with something like, my passion lies in emergency services. I'm applying for the emergency room technician's position. I've had the pleasure of being a part of Bayside Naval Medical Center as a volunteer. Below is a quote from my supervising RN, Wendy Finnegan. If you read this, tell me what you see when you read this. What are the characteristics that come out about her in this quote? Passionate about ER. Exactly. She volunteers. What does that say about her? People can depend on her. Thoughtful with her words. Remember, this is a cover letter. You've got some space. It's a cover letter. She goes over and above expectations, sense of integrity, easygoing. Instead of listing these things like we used to, we show examples. If you feel this is too long, cut it in half. But if something's valuable, it's worth being a little longer. This speaks to her character. This talks about her in so many ways that she can't convey. So again, if you want to cut it in half, you cut it in half. If you feel like it's powerful enough to say more about you, put the whole thing on there. My work in emergency services began in my sophomore year in high school. I volunteered throughout high school and college. My Bachelor of Science in Nursing, certified nursing assistant training, EMT certification, and extensive volunteer experience make me a perfect fit for this job. I plan to continue on with higher education to expand my knowledge. Now, again, that's an optional paragraph. If you want to go with 3 paragraphs, you can eliminate that. If you feel it's strong enough and it brings value to your cover letter, you add that. I'd be proud to rejoin Bayside Medical Center team. Your work within the community aligns with my involvement in community, a vital part of who I am. Now, they already work there, so they have contact information. So they're saying, I will contact you next week to see if you need any further information. Always finish a cover letter. And again, we have a cover letter workshop on the 24th. These are my commercials. Always end a cover letter with a call to action, something that's going to happen. You don't let a cover letter hang. You always say something about the next step, whether it's the next step on their part or the next step on your part. Call to action. Both documents show something about my quality for this job, show my experience, show my soft skills, show my hard skills. It all proves to them very clearly, which makes their life easier, which is good customer service, that I can do the job. Whoops, let's go back. I think I just skipped an extra page there. Okay, so here we are. How does customer service fit in the rest of the job search? Be prepared for the interview. Have your questions ready. You should have 3 or 4 questions after the interview when they say, do you have any questions? You should have 3 or 4, maybe 5 questions already set. If you have 5 questions, they probably answered 2 of them already. But you want to ask questions about the company, but things that you couldn't know. What's a typical day? What are your uphill battles in a typical day? You need to know all about the company, but talk about the company's functionality. You need to know the organization. You need to know their products. You need to know their competition. You need to know their mission statement. You need to know how you fit, and you need to have examples. That makes it easy for them. That's good customer service. As somebody mentioned prior, be on time for the interview. It's going to be really important. It shows respect. Yes, things sometimes happen, but be respectful of their time. Smile. This is a conversation, not an interrogation. An interview goes both ways. If you participate, you make their life easier. Watch your posture. Eye contact, make sure you use eye contact. Even if you're on Zoom, make sure you look at the camera, not the screen. Dress with current fashion. Well, that's just a little side tip. That doesn't help the manager very much, but it helps you. Provide any extra documentation that they require in a timely manner. Follow up with the thank you note. 1 to 2 weeks for a follow-up call if possible, if you have the information to call them. If not, email them again. Just send them an email. I'm following up to find out if you need any further information from me. I'm very excited about the opening. Keep it brief. That way your name's in front of them again. That's the one I wanted to call. Fantastic. They reached out to me. Great. I'm going to call them. Make life easy for them. That's the key. Okay, any questions before we're going to wrap it up? We're going to be a little early today because you've been really good with questions, but we've been moving quite along. Anybody have any questions? Does it make sense? Do you see the correlation there between customer service and a good job search? That's what I want you to see. Okay, thank you. Some people said yes. Well done. Thank you. Definitely. Okay. What if they don't respond at all? You gotta let it go. Sometimes they won't respond. That's part of the job search. That's part of this game we call the job search, which we don't really want to play. If they don't respond, I contact them twice myself. First within 5 days, and then once business days, and then another time after that. I give them maybe 3 more days or 5 more days. If I don't hear back in 2 reach outs, then I let it go. Somebody said, I know that some employers send out cloud files for new recruits to upload their documents. I think that's efficient. You're going to find things are getting more and more computerized, more and more technical. If you're looking for interview questions, you can go on a website. Actually, it's a tool, a new tool that you can use. I don't know if you've heard of it. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may use it. Some of you may not have heard of it. ChatGTP. ChatGTP is a place you can go and you can put in, I am working on putting together questions after the interview for this job. And you insert the job into the GPT, and it within a minute, a second, will come up with questions for you. ChatGTP is a really good tool to use for a lot of things. I would be very careful with it. You don't want to take something right out of there and copy it exactly into your resume or your cover letter. You want to customize it for yourself. There is software on the other end where they can tell if something's been totally developed by ChatGPT. So be careful with that if you use it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it right now. If you have enough on your mind because you're dealing with job search in general, stick with Google. I think a ChatGPT is Google on steroids. So don't worry about it. If it's foreign to you, we've got a couple of people saying, yep, they've used it, and that's fantastic. Okay. Somebody said, check out their stock. Interesting. I'll have to take a look. Thank you. Okay. In review, be current and look forward. Always looking forward. You need to let go of the past. You don't need to walk into the interview with a big chip on your shoulder. You don't need to walk into the interview all negative. That's not good customer service. Showcase relevant accomplishments. The other thing you want to, when you want to trim down your resume because it's too long, take out things that don't matter to the company as far as bullets are concerned. Take out things that are no longer relevant. Be unique. Be flexible. Again, you're sitting there, you're waiting for the manager, they're late, their stress level goes up. They come out to see you 10 minutes late, they're already under a lot of pressure. Make it easy for them. Hi, thanks for meeting with me. I really appreciate your time. Very relaxed. Handshake if it feels appropriate. Very relaxed. Be flexible. Streamline the past. That's what I need to tell you. And we talk about that more in the resume workshop. Streamline the past. Go back 15 years. Talk about the past 15 years if you have to go that far. Nothing before that. Somebody said if they're a small company, there might be no stock. That's true. Check it out. Check it out. Okay, something I want you to read when you have free time here is to read this article about avoiding job scams. There's a lot of scams out there. People take advantage of people who are somewhat vulnerable. And you are when you're unemployed. It's a vulnerable situation. So there are a lot of scams out there. So be careful with that. Okay. Resources. I put together resources for all my workshops. The first one talks about resume cover letters with customer service skills. The second one talks about manners. The third one talks about etiquette for interviews. Very important. I'm going to shut off the recording. Thank you to those who watched the recording. Appreciate you stopping by.